plays, we invite you to close your eyes, relax, rest in the presence and hold space.
Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamare. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamare. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Omega Dantaya Vidmahi Vakrajandaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamare. Jai Ganesha Gananatha Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamare. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Om Vakratundaya Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvigyam Kuru Me Deva Sara Karyeshu Sarvada. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Suklam Bharadram Vishnu Sasivarnam Chaturjam Prasannavadanam Dhyaye Sarvavignyopashantaye. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Jai Ganesha Gananata Dayaniti Sakala Vignya Karadura Hamari. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. 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 Om Ekadantaya Vidmahi Vakratundaya Dhimahi Tanno Danti Prachodayat. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha. Gam Ganapataye Namo Namaha.
Namaste.
Namaste.
Welcome to our weekly online satsang. Satsang literally means community of truth in Sanskrit. It refers to any gathering of two or more people on the path of awakening and spiritual transformation who come together to share their presence, their journey. And it strengthens us exponentially to join together with others who are awakening or awakened. So glad you're here tonight. We're living at a time when it's obvious the world needs to shift. It needs to shift on so many levels, so quickly. And, it's possible. What has to happen is a shift in the collective consciousness of humanity, a shift from a collective consciousness of competition, conflict, and violence to a collective consciousness of cooperation, harmony, and peace. That's a collective awakening and flowering of the heart of humanity. It happens one person at a time. So thank you for consenting and saying yes to the journey and for being here tonight. We share throughout the Satsang webcast something that we call the Flowering Heart Blessing. The Flowering Heart Blessing is a direct transmission of divine presence, awakened consciousness, energy, to bring about awakening and the flowering of the heart. It's a gift of divine grace from divine source, and so it's given freely. And please receive it in that spirit. And if you like it, you're soaking in it right now, you can begin to share it with others. Just to receive the Flowering Heart Blessing once as an initiation that activates you to serve as an instrument or a vessel of grace. So just in your heart, take an intention, ask the divine to pour the Flowering Heart Blessing through you, and join us throughout the webcast in sending the blessing to all that are with us tonight and to all who will be viewing this recording, this video recording, at any time in the future, whether it's tomorrow, the middle of the week, or 10 years from now. The wonderful thing about spirit, and the Flowering Heart Blessing is pure spirit, is that it's unbounded by time or space. There's no distance or separation in time or space. So we're glad you're here. Whenever you've arrived, whether it's while we're doing it live or later on, because many more times people watch it from one Monday to the next because they're on a different time schedule. Whenever you drop in, please give us a like or a love if you're watching this on Facebook Live, because we like to go in and see who is here, and we send you hugs and special blessings at the end. And I check each day, actually. I keep going in from one Monday to the next to see who else has dropped in and viewed these webcasts. It's surprising how many people do, actually. So, but glad you're with us whenever you came, live or later on. It's nice. We like to, is there anything I forgot to?
The communion yesterday, if you haven't seen it yet, I recommend it very, very highly. It was really beautiful and insightful, and a lot of great teachings and energy.
And you could do that on Facebook Live. It's just a few screens below this one, and it'll stay up permanently, archived on my Facebook profile page, or our page on Vimeo. We have all of our events over years. Many of them are cataloged there, and you can go in and watch this anytime, or the communions with the Cosmic Christ, which are very special. They've been getting more and more powerful.
Yes.
It's like Christ is manifesting, and I think you might enjoy it. We like to open it for questions and answers on the spiritual journey. Questions surrounding awakening, divine union, previous lives, future lives, meditation. Any questions you might have about spirituality and the spiritual journey. The best questions are things that you yourself have been experiencing and would like more light, more clarity on them. And I like to give everybody a few minutes to go look inside and ask your heart of hearts, ask the divine in your heart, is there something that you might ask that would help you and everyone else who's with us here tonight? And then just do it. It helps everyone. While we wait for that to happen, there are actually two things I want to share with you tonight. I like to each week share quotes from spiritual teachers, authors, poets, mystics on various subjects from a website called inspiringquotes.com. And we're going to do that in just a few minutes. But I was really drawn, and I kept being drawn, back to the most recent newsletter that I received from Matt Kahn. Matt Kahn is a beautiful being and spiritual teacher. And sometimes his messages just reach out and say, hey, read this. And this one was like reached out and said, hey, share this with the group. So it's entitled Symptoms of the Ascension. And let me read this to you. Hello, beautiful friend. One of our beloved members asked a very pertinent question about ascension symptoms in our community forum, which sparked an answer that intuitively feels like it would be helpful for many of you at this moment. So I wanted to share my response to their questions with you here. Ascension symptoms are often signs of profound transmutation occurring in each person in service toward a greater collective shift. Currently, as a means of minimizing any escalation of conflict around the world, this week has been a profound time of compromised immune system function and lots of swoopy energy for many. This, and hear this, this may include moving back and forth between dark night of the soul sensations and moments of spontaneous expansion. It has also been affecting people's sleep and digestive symptoms. As light workers, we are clearing greater internal space for higher frequencies of light to be integrated and embodied as a means of furthering a tipping point toward collective peace, without a need for escalations of conflict to bring our world together into unity. Humanity is currently choosing which timeline will end 2023 and begin 2024. Whether aware of it or not, as light workers, we are working in direct accordance with the higher realms to further the shifts that are available in this open space of possibility. While it has been an intense time, we are indeed ushering in a new humanity. The question remains, which timeline will we individually and collectively take to get there? This is the work we are all doing successfully through our willingness to move through it from as open a space as we may authentically allow. So, that was right on. He thought it would help a lot more people than the immediate group. And I felt the same way. So it's so important, our collective decision, which timeline we're going to follow humanity in giving birth to the new humanity and the new earth. I remember hearing the divine say to me many, many years ago when I was being called to deep release and transformation. And the divine said, we can do this the easy way or we can do it the hard way. And he mentioned these ascension symptoms And probably you were thinking we were going to be talking about headaches and shakes and, some of that. No. He said, this may include moving back and forth between dark night of the soul sensations and moments of spontaneous expansion. It has also been affecting people's sleep and digestive systems. I relate to that. I mean, it's interesting because I've experienced exactly what he described, including the just sometimes I'm lying there and there's no sleep. And other times that's not a problem at all. And so if you've been experiencing some of that ebb and flow, some of those waves, they are serving the process of ascension. Ascension is moving from one level of being to higher, progressively higher levels of being as we ascend into oneness, into unity. So, do you want to share anything about that?
No. Nice.
Thought you might enjoy it. These quotes, well, I particularly had Suzanne in mind. These are quotes on the benefits of being grateful every day.
Oh.
And the author of this little article and 12 list of quotes is Christina Wright. We've heard from her before. Christina is a coffee-fueled writer, living happily ever after with her family in the suburbs of Richmond, Virginia. And here's what she has to say. Thankfulness is a virtue so highly extolled that several countries have an entire holiday based around it.
Wow.
However, cultivating a daily mindset of gratitude can also have a profound impact on nurturing relationships and fostering the well-being of our communities. When we consistently acknowledge the kindness and support we've received from others, we strengthen our bonds with friends and family and encourage a culture of appreciation and empathy. Gratitude is also a powerful tool for increasing our happiness, improving our health, and developing emotional resilience. Keeping a gratitude journal, sending a heartfelt thank you note or email, or incorporating appreciation into our daily mindfulness routine can enhance our mental and emotional welfare throughout the year. Regularly expressing our thanks reminds us of the connections we share with our fellow humans. It encourages acts of kindness that can ripple throughout society, ultimately contributing to a more compassionate world. I think she's one of us, or we're one of her. These 12 quotes about gratitude are a reminder to us all to reflect on the reasons we have to be thankful all year long. Here we go. Let us be grateful to people who make us happy. They are the charming gardeners who make our souls blossom.
That's nice.
Marcel Proust. If more people were more thankful for what they have instead of mournful for what they have not, much good would come to the world. Pessimism feeds on itself. So does optimism. Rose Fitzgerald Kennedy. Gratitude is a divine emotion. It fills the heart, but not to bursting. It warms it, but not to fever. Charlotte Bronte. To this day, the words that come most frequently to my lips are, thank you. When a person doesn't have gratitude, something is missing in his or her humanity. A person can almost be defined by his or her attitude toward gratitude. Elie Wiesel. Today, be grateful for your life. Allow that gratitude to carry over into your activities and to flavor all of your interactions. Find the gratitude in your life and you'll find joy standing right next to it. Melody Beattie. I would maintain that thanks are the highest form of thought, and that gratitude is happiness doubled by wonder. G.K. Chesterton. Far better, it seems to me, in our vulnerability is to look death in the eye and to be grateful every day for the brief but magnificent opportunity that life provides. Carl Sagan. So much to savor, so much to be grateful for, and since I'm not sure of the address to which to send my gratitude, I put it out there in everything I do. Michael J. Fox. Here's the gift of gratitude. In order to feel it, your ego has to take a back seat. What shows up in its place is greater compassion and understanding. Instead of being frustrated, you choose appreciation. And the more grateful you become, the more you have to be grateful for. Oprah Winfrey. He who receives a benefit with gratitude repays the first installment of it. Seneca. We have this one life to appreciate the grand design of the universe. And for that, I am extremely grateful. Stephen Hawking. Giving thanks for abundance is sweeter than the abundance itself. Thankfulness brings you to the place where the beloved lives. Abundance yields heedlessness. Thankfulness brings alertness. Hunt for bounty with the net of gratitude. Rumi. Nice.
Yeah, very nice.
Suzanne preaches the gospel of gratitude a lot, so I thought you might appreciate some of these. Yeah.
I really like them a lot.
Well, let's see here. Well, I'm waiting for a question from our community. I mean, maybe you're kind of clear about everything and have all the light you can stand. But if you'd like a little more light, a little more insight, then throw a question out there. And that will nudge the divine to pour inspiration through us for everyone. I'll give it another, I don't know how long. Oh, we have some very wise souls here. I know somebody can come up with a
Question or a comment or a discussion?
yeah, any participation. It's okay. Sometimes the group just wants to just receive. What is the dark night of soup?
Of soup?
You mean the dark night of the soul? I like soup. I don't know what the dark night of soup might be.
If you're really hungry and it's a dark night and you get a nice warm bowl of soup and express gratitude.
Soul. Oh, he meant soul. I kind of thought so. Well, okay, I guess the way you get out of the dark night of the soul is you go through it. You don't get out of it. You don't escape it. But sometimes people think they're in the dark night of the soul. Anytime on the spiritual journey they lose the sense of bliss and they experience some difficult charges, feelings, programs, spaces. Katerina said, ha ha ha, I don't want that soup. Yeah, right. But what is it? Actually, the dark night of the soul is much more of a profound passage than just the ups and downs. I mean, everybody goes through ups and downs, emotional highs and lows. The dark night of the soul is a specific part of the spiritual journey. And there are different levels to it, but basically, it seems like the light we've been enjoying, that's been giving us joy and peace, seems to be eclipsed. That's why it's called the dark night. We're in the radiance of the celestial sun, you know, having peak experiences, and then it's like, where'd it go? Yuck. Now, there can be various reasons for that. So if it isn't the authentic dark night, it might be because we've lost our focus.
Is it still live?
Yeah.
Okay, because it's kind
Fine.
of frozen.
No, it's not.
Oh, okay.
We're fine.
Okay.
At least we're supposed to be. Are we still there for everyone? Looks like we're not, doesn't it? Well, we're just gonna...
Did a new comment just come in?
No, I read it.
Oh,
The
yes.
Katerina, I
yes.
read it.
They said that we're here.
We're here. Okay.
Okay.
Zan,
Okay,
relax.
I'm relaxed.
I've been having so many issues with electronics over the last 24 hours. No more wrenches, and just everybody agree it's all just gonna flow through the soup. Yeah.
Flow through the soup.
So, okay. I was starting to say that the question was, how do we get out of the dark night of the soul? Everybody wants out of it. And if it's the authentic dark night of the soul, you don't get out of it, you go through it. Because it is a process that sort of the divine is orchestrating. We tend to get, it's almost like a spiritual addiction to our practices. Maybe we've learned a special pranayama or some breathing exercise that takes us into a state of bliss, or a particular kind of meditation. It could be any kind of spiritual practice. It could be a spiritual teacher that just every time we connect, we get the juice, we feel really good. And you may come to a point where that form of prayer or meditation or pranayama or connecting with that particular spiritual teacher just doesn't do anything. What's going on? And the thing is, the divine will at certain points, not for all souls, but for many, will withdraw the spiritual consolations, the bliss, the highs, the peak feelings, so that we have to go deeper. As long as we have these things that are sort of blissing us out, making us feel great, we can plateau. And so the divine as a favor sort of eclipses the light for a little while, and we go, oh my gosh, what's going on? And if it's the authentic dark night of the soul, one of the things that accompanies it is the desire for silence and solitude. When that darkness grips the soul, we want to just be in silence and just a little bit of solitude. It might only be, for a few minutes. It might be the need for a retreat. In the inauthentic dark night of the soul, people often sort of backslide. They go back to their old ways. They go to heck with this, and that's different. We can experience what people think is the dark night because we've lost our focus, we've lost our spiritual passion, we've lost our sort of discipline of keeping our eye focused with singleness. And then, of course, we need to do a self-examination. And even where the dark night of the soul is concerned, we need to do an examination of and ask for clarity from Spirit. Why is this happening? Is it something I'm doing? And in the authentic dark night, you can't identify anything. And one of my spiritual teachers, a very profound, I believe truly a saint, Father Thomas Keating, the father of the centering prayer movement, a profoundly enlightened Benedictine, well, Cistercian abbot, monk. He said, and this came from the teachings of Anthony of the Desert, who was profoundly immersed in the dark night of the soul when he began to pursue contemplative prayer and divine union in earnest and set everything else aside. 3 spirits assailed him: dizziness, blasphemy, and fornication. Boy, that sounds really wild. But the explanation is illuminating. Dizziness means I can't find my center. I'm not sure which end is up. I no longer know what I actually believe anymore. What's true? I'm all dizzy. When you were just certain and solid and established, you're dizzy. So there's this sort of dizziness. Maybe what Matt Kahn was calling that swooping energy. And during that time, we can lose our sense of what we actually believe and know. Spirit of dizziness. Spirit of blasphemy is, I've been working really hard on the spiritual journey. I've been really disciplined. I've been doing service. I've been meditating. I'm praying and focused. And you know what? I don't deserve this. I'm mad at you, God. That's the spirit of blasphemy. It's like, why are you letting me go through this? And so the soul at that time, even a profoundly holy soul, may get mad at God. The third one, here's the humdinger. Actually, I think it's the spirit of blasphemy where you get mad at God that is the main problem, is the spirit of fornication is I feel so absolutely crummy. I feel so devoid of joy and peace and delight. I would just do anything to feel better. And, well, almost. So Thomas Keating, who was, a profound renunciate monk, said, you may have gone all your life in absolute sobriety. At this point, you feel so terrible, you'd consider going on a bender and going out and getting drunk or something, anything, just to feel better. And you see, that looks so much like backsliding. I no longer know what I believe. I'm mad at God, and I'm tempted to do stuff just to feel better. That's why if someone finds themselves going into what they think is the dark night of the soul, St. John of the Cross, who wrote the text, literally wrote the book, the manual on the dark night of the soul, entitled The Dark Night of the Soul, said it is essential that you seek spiritual direction. And it needs to be spiritual direction from a true mystic that has been through this stuff and knows what it is. Because John of the Cross said if you go to the wrong spiritual director at that point, it's worse than no spiritual direction at all. So you go to some like extremist fundamentalist soul that says, oh, you're slipping up. You need to meditate 20 hours a day. You need to repent and turn your life around. And you need to become like much more disciplined and focused. And actually, if it's the authentic dark night, maybe what would serve you best is a holiday in the countryside, just rolling in the grass and smelling the flowers and letting your soul rediscover the beauty of being. It takes a good spiritual director, meaning one that has gone through, covered the journey, to help you discern if you're just backslidden or the divine is taking you into this deeper journey of going deep, deep, deep inside where we find the light within. We find the cosmic Christ. We find the Paramatma, the divine source at the center of our spiritual heart, and we're no longer dependent on external superficial things to give us peace and joy and fulfillment. It's that light that we become increasingly united with and focused on in our hearts that becomes the source of strength, the source of joy. That's how you get through it. You go through it. That's how you get through it. And it will take you, if it's authentic and you're getting good spiritual direction, and it will take you to a much deeper state of union. There are descriptions, the prayer of quiet, where it's just easy to just be still and silent which for most of us isn't easy. There are constant distractions. But you became more and more absorbed, which may lead to the prayer of union, the prayer of full union, ecstatic union, which is where we're caught up in transcendence and absorption in the divine. And it leads eventually to what Christian mystics call the transforming union, which is, in my experience, the same as Sahaj Samadhi, spontaneous absorption and union with the divine, a transformed life. So it's worth going through. It is not easy. No one who's going through the dark night of the soul goes, oh, I'm so glad I'm going through this.
Let's do it again.
Yeah. And there are deeper and deeper levels to it. It starts with the dark night of the senses, where sensory consolations are sort of withdrawn, so you go deeper into spiritual consolation. And then, like the final nights, are the night of spirit, where I'm not even going to try to describe it. And some contemporary mystics talk about the night of self, where the self itself is eclipsed. And all of it's really good. But it's better to talk about it when we're actually going through it, rather than give you misconceptions or ideas that are just of the mind.
It's, speaking of the mind, it's interesting the last few years, I don't know how many years, but it's been a contemplation of mine. Several years back, Michael went through a phase where he was saying, why do I assume that is true? Why do you assume that is true? And that's been a very, very important meditation for me, because the mind and the ego want to be right, and they want to be in control, and it wants certainty. And so if people agree on a concept or an idea, and that's so prevalent in the collective consciousness, if people agree on it, it reinforces that idea or that concept or that emotion, and then we don't question it. We just go, oh, okay, that's the way life is. And so to take a step back every now and then when I get new information or new insights or new whatever coming through my head, I'll go, why do I assume that is true? And I'll do a deeper dive into the heart and get guidance on whether that's a good match for me or whether it's not. Is that coming from my higher self, my higher power, or the divine within? Is that coming from that arena, or am I just going along with what is? So it can be very dizzying to our whole system when our concepts and our beliefs we discover might not be true. Mm-hmm. And it kind of throws us off guard a little bit until we can find that center that Michael was talking about, the light in our hearts. So a good exercise for me has just been, relaxing into it's okay not to believe everything that I hear, not to be influenced by forces outside of what is true inside of my own being, and even to question, why do I assume that's true? So, and it just goes deeper and deeper and deeper, but you do come to a sense of peace because you're not trusting your mind and ego anymore, which isn't necessarily giving you accurate information. So the more that we go within, the easier it is to see what's real in our little universe.
So Jennifer writes, indeed, considering how much more pleasant life is when in meditation, in the company of the divine, why is it so hard, at least for me, to fight the monkey mind? Be undisciplined about it. Revert to icky feeling. Not as heavy as a dark night of soup. Well said.
That'd make a good book title.
Dark night soup for the soul?
Yeah.
Oh, God. I don't know that would be a bestseller, but okay. Yes. Life is much more pleasant when in meditation and in the company of the divine. Why is it hard for me to fight the monkey mind? Because you're not supposed to.
No.
Here's an insight. Well, you can. But some of the best contemporary teachers that are helping many people access direct awakening and deep states of meditation, Jeff Carrera and Craig Hamilton, point out that, and when I first tapped into Craig's teaching, what I really like, Meditation 2.0, he said that many people spend their whole life wasting their meditation time trying to silence the monkey mind. I mean, the monkey mind, what does the monkey mind do?
Monkeys around.
It monkeys around. It chatters, it's distracted, you know, has the attention of a gnat. And so a lot of us somehow got the message, which was inaccurate, that the goal of meditation is to silence the mind. That's not possible. The mind is nothing but a bunch of chatter. The mind is filled with doubt, filled with fear, and it is what it is. In meditation, we just let it go. And we rise above it, behind it, through it. We simply disengage from the struggle that the monkey mind is constantly drawing us into in life. Fix this, fix that. What are you going to do about this? How are you going to get out of that? And for 20 minutes, or whatever your meditation period is, you just let it be. And it's jumping, and it's chattering, and it's throwing things at you. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? And your response is nothing. You just let it go. Let it chatter, let it scream, and you just, for that period of time, there's nothing to do. There's nothing to fix. There's nothing to solve. We're doing that all day long. So give yourself a break. Meditation is a break. And for whatever period of time you've set aside, you just don't engage anything. I mean, whatever happens, just let it happen, and you just sit there and let it go. My master, some of his old students said through the years, he didn't give us much instruction on meditation, what we should be doing. Actually, he gave us a lot, but the best he ever gave to me was one day he said, oh, you just sit, close your eyes, and forget yourself. But I noticed that he was pointing to these moments during my practice. My practice was full of struggle to be in the right position, to maintain the right breathing, to keep my back straight, you know, to keep the mind focused and all of that. And when you do that religiously, in a disciplined way, there are these moments I experienced where I just would forget myself. I'd forget this important work I was doing and the struggle, and there'd be this just blank spot. And it was in those blank spots where I stopped trying to do anything and forgot myself that everything happened. That's when I experienced reality. And then I'd go, wow, and I was out of it. And so I began to look for allowing those moments of self-forgetfulness. Thomas Keating in the Centering Prayer Movement called it self-forgetfulness. And so it's exactly what my Taoist master said about sit and forget yourself. Easier said than done, but it really helps. There's some great meditations, and you can explore till you find what works for you, but don't think you can silence the ancient mind. It's very ancient, and it's just full of it. So the moment you stop resisting it and trying to control it and suppress it and make it be still, there's so much relief. And your energy comes back, because we consume so much energy tossing and tumbling with the mind. And that's not what meditation is. So it is about no mind. It is about eventually coming to a place that may be free from thought. That can happen instantly when you just let the thoughts arise and go, and you just relax. You can observe them, you can feel them, but you don't try to change them or engage them. So, and the reason that it's so easy to get distracted by the monkey mind is that when you are deep in meditation and you're in the company of the divine, that's when the monkey mind comes after you full force. Because the mind is afraid of ceasing to exist. Thing is, you're not the mind, and the mind doesn't exist as a being. It's a phenomenon. But you are the being of pure awareness that is seeing the mind. You're not the emotional charges, you're the awareness that is experiencing those things. So when you take a break from trying to work with them and change them and all of that and just let them go, suddenly you notice you're in this place where there is no thought. Thought's going on, but it's not taking control of you. I know we're going a little late on this, but these are some great questions. Mm-hmm. So Jennifer responded, wow! yeah, you're welcome. And Yogi Bhadrapala, he writes, the times that I had been in a dark night of the soul, I was fortunate enough to remember that by practicing service to all there is, practicing service to all there is gets me out of self. I do find healing through helping others. Caring for animals, plants, I get busy loving and I ask myself, how did I get to this dark night? What am I supposed to learn from this? I'm responsible for what I see. Anything that is happening to me, I had to help create. Today I harvest the lesson and fill my day with joy from within to without. I'm responsible for the hell in my life, and I'm responsible for the heaven in my life. Wonderful insight.
That is wonderful. That's one of the first things I counsel people that are going through a really hard time, or I call it getting stuck in a loop. You know, oftentimes people are so attached to their story of what's grieving them that they just keep looping through it and looping through it. And so I'll recommend, you know, if somebody's struggling with almost being homeless, go work and volunteer at a homeless shelter. Get out of your woes and see others that are in a similar situation. And almost nobody ever does it when I recommend it. But service is one of the fastest ways to get you out of yourself, because you're helping others. Mm-hmm. And that's more in alignment with the divine will than just being caught up in our own dramas and our own stories and our own misery.
Once I was very young and very miserable, and I came to my master, and he wasn't one that you complained to, the Taoist Chinese master. And anyway, he took one look at me and saw how miserable I was, and it's like, it was an aspect of the dark night. I was spending many hours doing meditation and deep internal alchemical Taoist practices. And he looked at me, and I could see this gentle look of compassion. He didn't always radiate that, but he looked at me with compassion, and he came over and he grabbed me by the shoulders and turned me around and pointed to a person sitting across the room who was hurting and sick. And he said, go heal them. And the minute that I shifted from my own suffering to someone else that was suffering more and reached out to help them, which is, I think Yogi was pointing directly to that, I was free. At least not from the process of shedding the self. That's quite a journey for most of us. But I was free from being all embroiled in myself.
Right.
Yeah, beautiful.
Great insight. Thanks for sharing that.
Michael Christopher.
It's a good reminder to all of us, too.
Such a catalyst, Michael Christopher. Okay, so now close your eyes and open your heart and just begin to drink in the divine blessing, the flowering heart blessing that is flowing to you right now. The divine knows exactly what you need. It does not judge you. The divine is pure, unconditional love, compassion, healing, peace, and it yearns to free you from suffering and draw you into union, deepest oneness with itself, which is your true self. So, for this time, the next few minutes, just let go of your needs, your desires, and open yourself to receive the grace, the blessing of the divine. We take a very strong intention for everyone to be awakened from the illusion of separation and awakened into oneness with all that is, with the light itself. Just receive. Presence knows what you need. Just let it flow and receive. Now you could open your eyes and begin to make direct eye contact with Suzanne and or me as we begin the light meditation. During this meditation, Suzanne and I are flooded with oceans of grace and love and light, and it pours through all of our being to you, especially through our eyes, which mystics have called the doorways of the soul. All you need to do is keep looking, gazing at least one of our eyes, and welcome the grace that is flowing to you. The light will shine out through our eyes, in through your eyes, into your heart of hearts, causing the divine light, the divine love within you to burn brighter and brighter. meditate with us for a few more minutes as the grace settles. Now continue meditating as long as you wish. And or you could lie down in Shavasana. It's a wonderful yoga pose where you simply find a comfortable place to lie down on your back. Close your eyes, let your arms be loosely at your sides and your palms open, turned upward, and just dissolve in the presence with gratitude. We love you very much.
Much love, light, and blessings.
Until we meet again, know that the divine in us beholds the divine in you, and we bow to you.
Namaste.
Namaste.